Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's special Instagram live session. I am Arya Nair, your life coach and career coach. And today's session, we should just not miss out on, right? Today, we have a very special guest who retired from the armed forces and is currently turned into a life coach specializing on mindset shift and mind hacking. So we have our guest today, Colonel Aditya Singhal, and just to give you a short story about how we met, both of us come from the same alma mater. We come from the same university. Colonel Aditya Singhal and I, at different time periods, of course, did our MBA from University of Pune, and just few years back we had our alumni meet, and I was in a crossroad, to be honest. I was a certified career coach, but wasn't aware of should I upgrade myself to life coaching. And I don't know, universe presented me an opportunity where I had a chance to talk to Colonel Aditya Singhal, and after having a word with him about what life coaching is and how can you help and serve other people, that inspired me to actually become a life coach. So I am really happy to have the opportunity to have an Insta live with Colonel Aditya, and just give me a moment, let me add him to the Insta Live. Hello, good evening, Colonel. How are you doing?
Good evening, Arya. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining. I'm honored to have a session conducted with you. Thank you for accepting my request.
It's a great honor for me to, Arya.
I I was just telling the story of how we met and how did you technically inspired me to become a life coach. I was just telling the audience about that, and I'm so happy that we are able to do a session on such an interesting topic.
Yeah.
That is, what is mindset shifting and mind hacking. That's a very interesting term. So we'll get to that, but. First of all, I would like to invite you to introduce yourself to the audience. I've done a bit of it, but I want you to explain them how is the transition from the forces to coaching, and how has it been for you, and do you have anything that you would love to share while you're briefing about yourself?
Thank you, Arya. So, thank you very much, firstly, for giving me an opportunity to come on your Insta Live. It's really, you're doing great, I would say. And it always feels happy when you find somebody from within your own community doing, taking those steps forward, even though they are little, small steps, but these small steps lead to great, achieving greater heights. So, as for about me, I served in the Indian Army for 33 years. I'm a tankman, basically, for those who don't know, from the Armored Corps. And after completing my full service of 33 years, I ultimately hung up my uniform in September 2020. And that time, we were all going through the after effects, or, yeah, or rather in the middle of COVID and the havoc that had created. Like a first wave had just finished, there was a little bit of gap, and the second wave started after a little while. And so I was mentally and otherwise also looking for opportunities to go out and do something worthwhile. And I was also very clear about one thing, that I did not want to go in for a 9 to 5 job. I wanted to be my own boss. And towards the later part of my career, about after I completed MBA from Puma, I was very deeply involved in learning, training, development, and personality development of young cadets in the National Cadet Corps for 4 years. And thereafter, I was posted to Tri Services Institute here in Pune, wherein we were training middle level officers from the three services. So it was like it was I had a fair bit of idea as to what this is what I enjoy doing, and this is what is my calling, and this is what I can further build upon. And mm, uh, since we were all working online and there was no physical contact with anybody, I came across one of my first mentors, Brigadier Sushil Basin. I attended a few courses and workshops conducted by him, and the first one was train the online trainer. So that is where you learned as a coach, a trainer, speaker, coach, how you can utilize the online platform to reach out to your prospective clients who are out there waiting for you. And it was a game changer for me because that put me on the right track. And in the process, I was able to, after I did a couple of training assignments with him, I was able to start my own coaching journey. I was also able to start my own YouTube channel, Insta Live, and all those things. I got the technical part of the coaching business. However, I was still figuring out as to what exactly should I do, what kind of a program should I create. And one target audience was because I was in the NCC, they were youngsters who were aspiring to join the armed forces. So that was one idea I had knew that this is where I can help them to prepare for acing the SSB interview to join the armed forces, or also to get prepare better for joining any kind of a profession or preparing them for any kind of a job interview, whether it is a government sector or it is in the IT or other professions, because the basic process remains the same. And basic requirement is also same, and people are looking for, especially the youngsters from the tier 2 cities. They don't have access to these opportunities, and so through Zoom call, through this online platform, we were able to reach out to them and give them the right kind of a direction and help. And while I was doing so, I had to still work. I had to really work hard to get or reach out to these people, my prospective clients. And then I came across another great person called Mr. Arfin Khan, who's known as the Tony Robbins of India. And I did a course under him. And since then, I would say it was the program was called Incredible You Coach Training. And once I did complete that training, once I got became certified coach, and it is accredited to what you call ICF, and I started my full coaching journey as a life coach, and later on through that platform, I ventured into the area of mind hacking, and that was, I would say, the second step of my transformation, because what we did in this was that we went through the entire process ourselves, and when I'm working with my client, I am also taking the client through the same process. So I have experienced the transformation. So I have got the confidence. I've got the conviction that yes, this thing works, and so it was becoming better and easier for me to create those transformations or mindset shift, as we say. And talking about this journey, what main thing I learned was that coach does not give advice. Coaches ask meaningful questions, and our effort is to empower your client to create the solution, take ownership, and execute them, so that their chances of becoming successful in handling their challenges are much better. And that is how this journey started, and it's been now almost about 4 years since I have been working in this as a mind hacker and a mindset shift coach with Arfin Khan, as well as his community. Ours is a large community, and also collaborating with other coaches like you and many more from within our community, and also independently if somebody comes to me for guidance. Yeah. So this is in brief how my journey has been, and of course it has been a continuous learning process for me, because one thing I realized was if you are open to learning and open you have the mental flexibility to adapt to the changing environment around you and adapt to the technology, it becomes much more easier. And to give out the results that you are aspiring to give and create those transformations in people who are coming to you for help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you, Colonel, for sharing your whole story. It is so inspiring because you come from an action-driven, strategic background that was the armed forces. And then from there, like your journey, right from learning the technical aspects and then the content and, using it in your personal life, evolving as a person, and then now you are here as a coach. Of course, like while you were in the forces, you would have had a lot of leadership roles, and
Absolutely.
you tend to be a coach over there as well. But then here it is little different. So I would just like to ask you a question about the transition. I also come from an armed forces
Mm.
background. My father is a retired army officer, and I've heard it a lot. The transition from forces to a civil life is very I would say difficult,
Yes.
and a lot of people don't share about that. So, can you please share your experience, and if you have any suggestion for someone who is, planning to go through this transition, or someone who wants to get into the forces, but eventually what they can expect, because this is something a lot of people don't talk about, but then I think they should be prepared about this, right?
Yes, Arya, the thing is that in the armed forces, training is a part and parcel of our daily life, right? From the day you join the academy to become a officer, and thereafter, once you join the unit, you're training and preparing yourself and your subordinates as a troop leader, as a squadron commander, as a commanding officer, to be ready to go for operations at the drop of a hat. You're given an order, and you within uh, 24 hours you are there on the battlefield, fully prepared with all your equipment and everything ready. So that is one thing that is ingrained in us, in our DNA, I would say, of any army officer. And I also realize that the same thing is ingrained in the army kids also, who are fondly known as the army brats. You would have yourself gone through the process, Arya. And yes, there you are used to an environment wherein once you have given an order, it will be executed by your subordinate. There's no coming back. There's no questioning or saying that I will not do it, I can't do it. Well, all those things are taken care of in the beginning also only. However, when you're transitioning from the army to the civil or corporate background or corporate battlefield, like I remember one of our mentors, Brigadier Basim, actually runs a program from uh, army battlefield to a corporate
Wow.
battlefield, or from or even for MBA graduates, he has a program for preparing for the corporate battlefield. So the one major difference is that you have to learn a certain things which you have learned in the army,
Yes.
expecting that things will happen automatically, and you have to be flexible and adaptable to adapt to the changing environment.
Yes.
Also, to uh, uh, accept people as they are, and also to accept rejections in the process or differences in opinion, and also to find ways and means to how to handle those kind of challenges. And another thing is, in the army, whereas outside in the civil field, people may not be driven. So you have to really, really inspire and motivate them from your own example. You have to set an example as a leader. So whatever we have learned in the armed forces, we can actually implement the similar things in a different manner, and we can get the desired result from our subordinates and people around us in the civil field. So that is one thing which many army officers or people from the armed forces find difficult, because they are not used to hearing a no from a subordinate. That is no, it cannot happen. So it takes a little bit of time for them to adapt to that change. It is more like a cultural shock, I would say, for them.
Yes.
Especially those who are at the senior level, people who are exit the army at the junior level. For example, the short service commissioned officer leaves after 5 years, so they are still young. They are more flexible. But the more you become senior, that flexibility does become an issue for people to
Adapt.
uh, adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But yes, one more thing I realized was that more and more corporates are implementing the lesson learned from the armed
of
forces in the management level.
yes.
Like Art of War by Sun Tzu is one of the most referred to document by many corporates at the higher decision making level. So yes, they are adapting to things which are being done in the armed forces, and with more and more people from the armed forces joining the corporate sector, things are improving. Things are
Yeah.
becoming a little bit easier for them.
Yes. Yes.
So that is, I think, that is the main difference that sets you apart from being in uniform to transitioning into, or as we say, we are not retired, we are re-attiring from uniform to a civil dress or civil environment. So
Yes. Yes.
this is the major, I would say, challenge and a thing which most of the people from the armed forces face when they are transitioning into the thing. So one has to be mentally open. One
Yes.
has to, as we said, unlearn certain things and learn new things. So you have to be open to that. Mental flexibility is already there in
Yes.
us, but
Yes.
that mental flexibility has to be a little bit more expanded towards accepting the new
Yes.
uh, work
Yes.
environment. Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you for sharing your experience as well as understanding of what is the transition between an armed forces life and when you come into a civil life. Because this is something a lot of people don't address. But thank you for sharing that there is a course also where people are
Yes.
preparing people to be ready
Yes.
to get into the corporate life right after forces. I think that was missing years
Earlier.
before, and it
Yeah.
is a boon for us.
So now, in fact, Arya, every officer, especially officer, even JCOs and Jawans, they have this. We before they are about to retire, we would undergo a resettlement course,
Mm-hmm.
which prepares you as per your interest, as per your expertise to transition. And if you want to work in a civil environment after you have hung up your uniform, so it prepares you mentally, and it also shows you the ways what all options are available for you to which you can use as per your
Right.
choice. Yeah, so that is there. That is there, and especially for officers, you get a chance to do a 6 months course from the IIMs
Yes.
and the top management institute, which is a game changer for all of us,
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, thank you for touching upon this such an important topic. And now I would like to ask you about the mindset shift, mindset hacking that you say. Can you just give us a brief of about it? What is something about mindset that makes you feel so transformative, and what is exactly this mind hacking concept that you are specializing in?
Okay. So first, let's handle the mindset part, Arya. So as you are yourself a coach, you would have realized that everything begins from your mind.
Correct.
The kind of thoughts that are running your mind define everything that you do or not do.
Mm-hmm.
And we have heard people talking about scarcity mindset or abundance mindset, wherein scarcity mindset, in a layman's term, is where you are only always looking everything life as a big problem, and
Yes.
anything which comes to you is like a problem for you. Anything. Whereas abundance mindset is something wherein there's a problem, there's a challenge, but you think now, how can I find ways and means of overcoming that problem, or how can I find solutions? Creating solutions, creating opportunities, or converting your failures into stepping stones for success,
Yes.
as we say. So that all comes from the mindset that you have, and that is also defined by certain things which are not developing suddenly, but they are grown over a period of time, right from your childhood. The
Correct.
conditioning your mindset, mental conditioning is defined by the way you have been brought up in your family, the kind of family background you had, the kind of education system you have gone through, and the kind of opportunities you have created, or like you would have realized, or many of us in the audience, like in my case, if I say, I have grown in an environment wherein whatever is told to you by elders, your father, your parents, is the gospel truth. You cannot question. You have to do what you have been told to
Right.
do. However, now things are totally changed. Now you're allowed to question. You're allowed to ask answer. You're allowed to use your own mind. So once you get these opportunities, definitely your mind opens. That is one thing. Secondly, our education system, wherein mostly earlier it was totally rote-based learning, wherein there was only two options: either you go into an engineering college or you go to a medical college. So you have to start preparing for NEET oblique
Yeah.
the entrance exam, JEE. And so people would start sending their schools to Kota, which are known as the factories for budding engineers, oblique doctors, right from 8th standard.
Yes.
So it is all, so basic foundation is weak. They are only
Right.
preparing for the competitive exams, and that also affects your mind in the sense if it how to handle failures, how to handle your setbacks,
Of course.
and that is one of the great reason for people committing suicides at such a young age. We have been hearing about these things happening on a very frequent basis. So that is where the importance of having the right mindset comes into play, wherein you become mentally resilient to handle the failures you fail. Okay, failures will come, challenges will come in your life. Yeah, they will not stop. But how do you handle them is what is more important. That is where mindset comes into play. And
Exactly.
so that is where you and I come as coaches or mindset shift coaches, where we help our clients to firstly find out who they really are, what exactly is their aspiration, what exactly is their capability, and then you align all three together to also find out where they want to go, and whether the where do you want to go is in alignment with what is your core values, or do you need to reframe or reset your target and then work towards achieving
Of
it.
course.
So that is what is the mindset part. Now coming on to mind hacking. So you must be familiar, on anybody who's from the IT background, you must have heard about
Yes.
hackers. So what do the hacker does? He hacks into your system, finds the loopholes, and exploits those loopholes to their own advantage, or to prevent the system from functioning effectively.
Yes.
Then there's another category who are known as the ethical hackers. So the companies, most of the IT companies employ these ethical hackers. They will also hack into your system. They will also find the loopholes which are there, but they will help you plug those loopholes so that your entire system becomes foolproof and it functions properly.
Yes.
So mind hacker is like a ethical hacker who will help you to hack into your mind, into your thought process, how your brain is functioning, how your thought process is going, what kind of thoughts are running in your mind, what are your core values which are affecting your actions, which are very important for you, and then thereafter, how to ensure that those are not violated,
Mm.
not by you, but even by external forces. And if something happens, how to handle those situations. And then second part is how about the coding, which is akin to your value system, or the what you call uh, 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 um, uh, 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 the way you are thinking, the way you are you would behave in a particular situation, or the way you are coded to react to certain
Situations.
situations.
Right.
So the and also, what are these codes or belief, or rather belief system? What is your belief system, and how it is affecting your overall thought process? How it is affecting your actions? So once you have found out what are the negative beliefs or what are the belief systems which are not good for your system. So
Yes.
convert remove those beliefs and make them into your power statement or power quotes, and then utilize that change to achieve your outcomes. So that is where the role of the mind hacker comes into play. And so one is that you are not giving advice. Secondly,
Yeah.
you're not giving solutions. And thirdly, you're also making them find the solution, making them more accountable, but you're doing the hand holding, you're mentoring them, and at the end of it, ensure that he or she is not totally dependent upon you for
Yeah.
every time he faces a challenge, he comes to you. Now, what do I do? Instead of that, they should be become capable or empowered to take action after understanding all these things and create a what you call this. We call it as a success blueprint for
Right.
themselves to convert their outcomes into actual results. And even your dreams, which are like everybody has dreams of doing certain things, which could be outrageous also. Like for example, we are talking about going to the moon, having on a commercial flight. It is still a dream, but it is possible.
Yeah.
AI doing certain things which is possible, which was not there earlier.
Right.
So that is where the role of the mind hacker comes into play.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much for sharing so many things because it's to be honest, wiring and rewiring of your thoughts
Yes.
and brains is so important because like you mentioned, the way we are conditioned, it changes, right? From an era, I am a 1995 born kid. So back then we didn't have mobile phones. There were pagers. I remember my father having a pager. Then
Yeah.
in 2000s, slowly phone came. But then we never had access because it was not that common. Then internet
Mm.
came. Then there was Facebook. I come from a Facebook era.
Yeah.
And then WhatsApp, then Instagram. So many upgradations. The knowledge that you're having access to, it has changed. Then the
Absolutely.
era where you're coming, the thought process that's changing. So I believe based on the change in the environment, the dynamics, we need to wire and rewire our thoughts. But considering
Yes.
our core values are the main core value.
Not violated.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Like you mentioned,
yeah.
the belief system. If it is negative, if there are negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, then of course we need to address them. That's why
Yes.
coaches are there. But then, like, not, like you said, violating the core values, but then
Mm.
adapting to the different thought process based on the level of information we have. And like you said, as kids back then in those days, parents, whatever they said was like a gospel. Now we are actually allowed to ask questions if we are doing, if we are brushing our hair in a certain way, why are we brushing our hair in a
Absolutely.
certain way? Why aren't
Yeah.
we supposed to do in that way? And like parents have to be ready these days with
Absolutely.
answers. So that's also a challenge for them, but it is so interesting. And so about the failure part that you mentioned, I just like came across a very nice concept. So
Mm-hmm.
like failures, of course, like as kids all of us were scared of failure. Our parents, our grandparents and all, they passed on in such a way that failing is bad.
Yeah.
Any person, whenever I used to take a career coaching session with kids, I used to ask them, what do you want to be? And what used to be their answer? I score well in maths, so I think I will choose science.
Mm.
And I used to ask them, okay, you score well in maths, okay, but do you love doing maths?
Mm.
Then so they're like, no, matlab, our teachers and parents say that you score well, so you are good at
Absolutely.
it, and you should not fail, and all those things. But then, like, what success is? Tweaking failures. When
Yes.
you tweak failures, that is when you reach closer to success, right? And
Mm.
I personally feel that people should fail at least once in their life, because if they
Yes.
never fail and when they reach
Absolutely.
yeah, because when they reach at a stage where they are so scared of failure. When they face failure, it is so difficult for them to deal with that situation that
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have seen my friends also, they never failed, they were always good in class, and then all of a sudden, due to some issue with the professor or something would have happened in a college, and they got a back, or they failed a year. And when I heard this about them, I was like, why are they so scared about it? Because I have failed in school in maths. I
Yeah.
hated maths. So
Even I,
I have
even
seen failure.
I failed in college twice.
Oh, I think all, smart people fail once or twice. It's okay. So but that's why even if there is failure in front of us, what will be our response? हाँ चलता है देख लेंगे, right? I mean, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. But then that's why the fear of failure has to be gone, because if that is there, then you will never be able to go with an open mind and have creative ideas. And like just the other day, I saw a video of Elon Musk, and they were asking him about the SpaceX program, and so the last one was successful, right? So the
Yeah.
interviewer was asking, like, how much, like, did you invest in it? Were you sure that you would be able to do? He was like, this was the last opportunity for us. If this wasn't successful, we didn't have resources. We just
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Mm.
And but then they said, okay, if you wouldn't have been able to do it, what would you do? I mean, you would be devastated, or what? No, there's no option of feeling devastated.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right. I mean, he was fully drained out of resources, but
Mm.
still, like, after so many trials and trials, like, things happen, right? I mean, you have to be consistent. The point that you
Absolutely.
mentioned, consistency is very
Yeah.
important. So thank you so much for bringing all these important points like wiring, rewiring, limiting beliefs, affirmations, and helping people find all the bugs in their mind,
Mm.
so that we can not so that they're not completely dependent on coaches, but help them build a canvas and blueprint, like you mentioned, so that they can be able to respond to situations
Absolutely.
accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah. And Arya, you mentioned about failures, and one more thing is what we learned while from army. So we were told, okay, it is okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, provided you don't repeat the same mistake again and again. If you start repeating the same and the mistake again and again, then there's a problem. But if you
Yes.
make a mistake or if you fail once, you learn from that failure and do not repeat the same mistake. So, what we were conditioned that making mistakes is not acceptable, failure is not acceptable.
Yes.
So now the thought process is changed. Yes, mistakes will happen,
Yeah.
failures will take place, adverse situation will come. But how quickly can you get out of the situation? How quickly can you learn from your mistake and overcome that challenge? That is where your mental resilience comes into
Yes.
play. And again, it is connected to your mindset, because if you have the right kind of mindset, and also not only mindset, but the right kind of environment around you. We also talk about what do you call
Hmm.
mastermind. If you have the right kind of mastermind, if you have the right kind of people around you, you will definitely achieve what you're achieving. Like if for example, somebody is aspiring to become a millionaire, but he's hanging around with losers, how can you expect to become a millionaire? You will end up becoming a loser only. So definitely you need to realize that, understand who are the people who are right for me, who are the people not right for me, or who are toxic for me. So how do I handle those toxic people who are preventing me from moving forward in achieving my role? And one more thing which I realized is that most of us, you may also have experienced the same
Hmm.
thing. Most of us find do have these certain kind of toxic people around us, and invariably they are the most closest to us. Even though they are trying to do help you in their thought process, but actually they are not helping you. They are preventing you, or they are restricting you from taking the right action, taking the risk. Again, risk taking ability. What Elon Musk said, okay, okay, I have to move on. Exhausted my resources, but I cannot stop and start crying. Similarly, like if you remember your days when we were trying to learn cycling, so you try to you fall down, but your parents will say, okay, कोई बात नहीं, खड़े हो दोबारा से start करो. But now it is openly accepted, which was not the case earlier, especially when I was at that stage, or even like when I was at your age, things were totally different. And you must have also realized now things are changing so fast, as you mentioned, like there is a difference of that so-called generation gap is from one batch to other in a
Yes,
particular course.
of course.
Yeah, the thought process changed, and one has to have that mental flexibility. One has to be adaptable to changes circumstances, and mental resilience. The moment we have these things, then it will be easier for us to handle any kind of challenges we are facing in our life, whether it is your professional life or personal life, and come out as a winner. And even if you are not able to achieve the thing, you also have to have that when we are doing our planning, or when you are preparing for a particular thing, you have a plan A, plan B, plan C. Okay, plan A doesn't work, plan B. Plan B doesn't work, plan C. If nothing works, then what? Then start from scratch again and do something different. What can I do differently to achieve my aim? So I think our education system has to be more attuned towards encouraging independent thought process,
Yes,
instead of so that allow them to think, allow them to become creative, allow them to make mistakes, and uh, encourage them to use your mind. And with the AI come into play, actually our things, life has become easier, and many of our jobs will become extinct if we don't adapt.
of course.
You never know, tomorrow a bot would be training your client without him or her realizing that. But yes, wherever there is a human connection involved, that profession will survive the AI. And for us, how can we utilize AI to become better? How can we use this to make things easier for us and for our client? That is what we have to think. So certain things have already been taken over by AI.
Of course.
So people are really feeling scared. What will happen?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, thank you so much for bringing out such wonderful topics in this question, to be honest, because something I really, really make sure I understand when I'm talking to people is I first distinguish, is this person an energy drainer or is this person
Mhm.
an energy booster?
Yeah,
Because the
absolutely.
more you spend time with an energy drainer, more and more you will lose interest in what you want to do in your life,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And like when you mentioned about this, I actually, like, it took me back to all my years where I had no idea that one friend of mine could be an energy booster, one
Mm.
friend could have
Mm.
been an energy drainer, like that. Like
Yes.
you said, for them they are helping us
Mm.
in
Yes.
different ways in their thought, but it's not necessary that it is affecting us in a positive way,
Yes.
right? So it was very like I actually encourage the audience to like mention like maintain this practice of actually reflecting to situations, if not at that moment, then when you're back home
Yes.
after meeting people, just sit and think,
Absolutely.
why did you feel so tired and lethargic when you were talking to one person versus another person? If there is any situation or to the audience, if there is any situation where you felt this a difference between an energy drainer and energy booster, do mention in the chat box yes, because
Yeah.
because this is a very common thing, right? And the point you mentioned about like how it is important to like have mental toughness, resilience, because failures are absolutely fine. Like you have failure, but you can't go into the victim mindset, right? कि why is this happening to me, मेरे साथ ही क्यों होता है, I did so much and this and that, and you end up getting into grief for like 1 month. So
Absolutely.
I would give myself 24 to 48 hours to be sad. After that, I'll be like, okay, it's fine. If this is not possible, it is not possible. Now let's find ways. And the best point that you mentioned was you are here and you have a goal, plan A, plan B, plan C. When you do that, the position of you and the goal is the same. Just reroute
Absolutely.
yourself,
Yes.
find new options. If you have already planned, then do it. If not, just reroute. You will definitely find a place and a position where you are going to reach, provided there's consistency,
Yes.
right? So
And Arya, one more thing I realized while interacting with the people, especially after coming into this field of mindset shift coaching and mind hacking, is that most of the time people do not have the clarity as to what they want.
yes,
We have a general idea as to what I want to do, but I do not have a clarity exactly what I want to do or where do I want to reach. What is my? We always keep on talking about preparing smart goals and all those things, but actually implementation is not there, and that is another reason which causes the setbacks or failures that people face or not meeting their aspirations. And I'm again reminded of another quote of one of my mentors, Brigadier Sushil Basin, that if you don't know where you want to go, how will you reach
yes,
there? And another example is he said, whenever we are going for a travel, these days we are everybody uses a GPS. So you know where you are. You want to reach, say, for example, Mumbai, Kolaba. You put the destination Kolaba, the GPS shows you three different routes. It shows the shortest route and it shows you the alternate routes also. Now it is up to me as to which route do I want to take.
right,
And also, even if I have taken a particular route, midway also, if there is a requirement of course correction, it gives you an option.
yes,
But if we do not follow that, if we stick to that, okay, no, I have to cross that ditch through by going through it instead of bypassing the ditch, then I will have the kind of result that I'm getting.
yes.
So this is the again very important for all of us to realize and implement to become successful in life in whatever we want to do, or whether it is a personal life or professional life or otherwise also. Generally, I would say.
Course, of course. I mean, clarity and purpose is so important in one's life. I always tell people consider your purpose in life like a North Star.
Yes.
Okay, so like in
Yeah.
whichever direction you are, when you look at the North Star, you know, okay, this is north. So you are not clueless. How much ever cloudy, how much ever confusing the situation is, you have a direction and you have a purpose in life. I mean, imagine you are in a ship without a sailor or without a captain of the ship. I mean, how would you reach your destination without knowing the purpose in your life, right? So, like, it's so important once you set your purpose, once you know why, when you wake up in the morning, when you think about something and you have a smile on your face, or you can just there is something that you can just do when you are very sleepy but still you want to do it. When you wake up in the morning, you can still do it. I mean, often what you're happy to do, what is your joy, is mostly what your purpose is. But then, of course, you want to deep dive into it further. But knowing purpose, identifying, having clarity in any phase of life is so important. Like, what we often do is, like, all those who believe in the universe, like, people tend to pray, right? And they say, okay,
Yeah.
I want a happy life. Okay, so that's such a vague thing. Like same thing, like
Absolutely.
goal. Like you can't just say I want to be successful. You should have actionable goals,
Mm.
right? I mean, even a travel agent, if you tell a travel agent I want to go somewhere, travel agent will say where, when, how many days, which weather, which season, and everything, right? So you have to be as specific as, first start with a purpose and just be as specific as possible, set actionable goals. Only then you will be able to actually, go ahead, and then you'll be able to figure out what are the opportunities coming in front of you. There's how much ever
Absolutely.
opportunities you have, it's gone, it's
Yeah.
dead.
And I want to add one more thing here, Arya, the importance of self-discipline, because
Yes.
we always talk about discipline. People tell me you are from the army, so you are very disciplined. You do everything properly on time and all that. I said that's okay, but one very important or very great definition which was given to me again by our mentor Brigadier Basin was self-discipline. And what is self-discipline? Doing what you ought to do when you do not want to do it and when no one is watching you.
Yes.
So if you are able to achieve that level of self-discipline, then nothing can stop you from achieving what you are aspiring to do. And as you mentioned, when you wake up in the morning, and what kind of thoughts are running into your mind? Uh, do you wake up with a purpose? Do you, what is the first thing that you do? That also is very, very important. And in our system, which I mentioned, Incredible You. So there's one thing we call as your baseline. Then you have your power codes or E codes, and so outcomes. When they are aligned with your baselines and your E codes, then there's no way you will not be successful. Then success has to happen.
Yes.
There's no question of failure. However, most of the time what happens is our thoughts and our actions are not in alignment. And that is the biggest reason for us failing at anything what we are doing. And so, as a coach or a mind hacker, our job is to help our people who are working with us identify these things and then create their outcomes. So, 100% they will become successful, as and also the kind of environment that we have created, that the right kind of environment, energy drainer versus energy booster. So
Yes.
we have to, if we don't have energy boosters in our around us, we have to get rid of energy booster drainers and find energy boosters.
Right.
And also, if there's a requirement where we feel we are stuck and we want to get out of that what you call mud pit, or where the place where we are stuck, then we should seek help, because most of the time we naturally don't want to be seen as vulnerable or as a failure. What will people say? What will my parents say? What will my friends say? They will make fun of me. So if we are, that is the main thing of becoming fearless and becoming courageous, to handle your fears, handle your failures head on, and finding a way out. Okay, okay, this is happening, but what can I do differently to overcome these? And if I need help, I must reach out to people who can help me. It could
Right.
be it could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be a somebody who you trust, because trust is the foundation of this entire thing. If your client trusts you blindly, or matlab they know that you are the right person to take them through the process and help them overcome the challenges, half the battle is won for them. And
Totally.
it is, I would say, it is more of an experiential process than just giving a lecture or a presentation, because that doesn't
Of
work.
course.
Doesn't, and even motivation doesn't work just like that. You can keep on reading motivation code, we can keep on doing affirmation, but until we take action, nothing is going to happen. And the right action which is aligned to our thought process, which is aligned to our baselines and codes, and then outcomes, then definitely we will achieve what we are aspiring to
Yes.
achieve.
Yes. I mean, we had such beautiful topics addressed today, like taking actions on all the suggestions or all the tips that are provided by coaches, and then self-discipline, resilience, then rerouting and keep on trying, being consistent, watching out on the people or the people you're hanging out with. I mean, are you of the same wavelength, same energy level, same thought process? And I mean, really, I mean, this has been such an enriching conversation, Colonel, because like technically, I feel we have covered all the important aspects of life coaching in this one call. So, I mean, this has been very interesting. I have learned a lot myself after having a conversation with you, and I see really good responses from people in the audience where people are saying that, okay, my father also joined the call and he says preparation for failure is important and have alternate plan. Then Gayatri says, self-discipline. She liked the quote, what you ought to do, what you don't want to do. You have to do when you don't want to do and when nobody is watching you.
Yes.
So it's been a very, like, special Insta live session for me. I mean, I'm very
Thank
happy
you,
that
Arya.
I'm so honored to have this talk with you live, and thank you for your time. And to the audience out there, like this post will be posted, like this video will be posted after the live ends. So do share this. I feel this is a very nice combination of various values and thoughts that one must carry, and please do share with your friends and dear ones so that they are aware about what is happening around within yourself and in the environment. And thank you so much, Colonel, for your time. This has been really, really, really special. And on a weekend, thank you for spending time. And I think so. One thing I want to mention to the audience is the whole idea of me conducting Insta Live came from Colonel Aditya Singhal, because I mean, every Saturday 4 p.m. he has an Insta live, and I have seen in his comments consistent Colonel CC a lot of times, and that is why today I made sure that we adjust our time like somewhere around his Insta live, and that actually motivated me also to make sure that I conduct Insta live. It was technically, like, I was really stressed when I did my first Insta live, but then when I used to see you organizing Insta lives, I used to be like, oh, okay, there's a lot of things I think in the background, and now I know what it is. So thank you for inspiring
Thank
people,
you,
Tanner.
Arya.
Yeah, and it was really wonderful, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow is Republic Day, and
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you will have plans also. So,
Yeah, happy
yeah, so
Republic Day to you and the audience also.
yes,
And one more thing I want to add here is you said consistency and collaboration will result into the desired outcomes or results that you are aspiring to do. And yes, mental flexibility is also very important. You should be prepared to face failures, and you should also be prepared to handle those failures. So when you're open, and one more thing which I realized was that learning and unlearning and relearning is a continuous process. Whatever is not working for you, just unlearn, and whatever is working, you start learning, because your space here is limited. So you cannot keep on adding things. You have to remove, like we do that spring cleaning in our house every year. So we have to do the spring cleaning of our mind also. And once we do start doing that, automatically the new ideas, new things will come, and we'll be able to implement them. And whatever is not working, you just remove
yes,
them. And same with ideas, same with your thoughts, same with your mindset, and same with people also. Because we will come across all kinds of people in our life, and so we as you mentioned, ultimate choice is with us. The control is actually in our hand.
Yes.
Many times we don't realize that, and we keep on blaming the external circumstances, external environment, other people. But whereas actual thing is everything is inside us only. So the moment we one more thing about it reminds me of expressing gratitude, not only to others but gratitude to yourself. That is the most important part in our life. If we look at what I have, and I am thankful for these things, and appreciating myself for achieving what I have till now, and now what can I do better so that I can be a better person tomorrow than what I am today or what I was yesterday.
Yes.
And I think this is another thing which has really worked well, because it keeps you. You don't need any external motivation. Motivation and inspiration has to come from inside.
Yes.
Drive has to come from inside. As we say in army, we say fire. You have to have the fire in your belly. If you have the fire in the belly, nothing can stop you.
Of
Nothing can stop you from becoming incredible and
course.
successful.
Yes, thank you for sharing such wonderful lessons, Colonel. And yeah, it's an honor to have this conversation with you. And one last question. This is not about life coaching. This is about your experience in the forces. Okay. So as I'm also a career coach, I'm going to put that hat on me now. And I want to ask, so whenever, like these days, whenever I have a conversation with kids in school, colleges, I've heard that a lot of them are interested to join uh, armed forces, or they want
Mhm.
to join IPS, or they want to get into police. So, from that perspective, how could kids be mentally prepared, mentally, emotionally, physically? Of course, they are aware. I mean, but
Mm.
mentally, physically, how should they be prepared? Because there's a lot of things, right? Like when you join forces, it's not only physical strength. You have to have
Mm.
strategies. You have to be physical. I think in the academy itself, everything is tested.
Yeah.
But yes, please address, help us understand about that as well.
So Arya, what I realize that what the most common thing is that these days we have many people conducting these coaching and training for SSB, especially the SSB interview for joining the armed forces.
Mm-hmm.
So it is one has to identify in the beginning. Like for example, the moment you are in eighth or ninth standard, because after 10th you have to select the subjects that you want to take. So at that level, it is a great idea to go to a career guide or a mentor, and
Yes.
it is more important for parents to realize rather than the kids, because ultimately it is the parents because one more thing which I realized was that parents are at times trying to fulfill their
Yes.
aspirations through their children.
Yes.
So instead of doing that, if we at that level, because when a child is around 12, 13 years old, the mind has started developing. So that is the time they should go to a career coach or mentor, go through the process of identifying what are their capabilities, what are their strengths, what are their aspirations, and thereafter align all the three and find the options. What are the three, four options wherein I will be able to have a successful career, which is as per my aptitude and as per my capabilities. That is very important. Once you have identified that, then you start working backwards. Okay, I have to, like for example, if somebody wants to join the armed forces, the first step is to appear for the NDA exam. So NDA exam will give when you're in 12th.
Yes.
So everything is available. Knowledge and information is available
Yeah.
everywhere. But how to prepare is something which, like we are preparing for IIT entrance exam or medical. You can start preparing from 10th onwards if you want to join the armed forces. Firstly, clear the written exam. Once you have cleared the written exam, then you will be called for the SSB interview process. And there they are looking for your certain things, certain qualities which will either fit or not fit. They be in the armed forces, especially, they don't want geniuses. They don't want. They want a normal average person who is adaptable, who can be mentally flexible. As far as the physical toughness is concerned, that will be taken care of once you join the academy. You will be made, become physical tough. All your this thing will be taken care of. But that mental thing is identified through the psychological test. And you cannot fake. Many times where I've seen people go to academies, they prepare them in so much that the moment where the person goes for the SSB interview, the assessor can immediately identify that he has been conditioned, he has been trained to give these kinds of answers. But
Yes.
actually, inside he may not be the so that is very important. We have to be natural.
Yes.
And it is not a many people have also seen that people write, I have appeared for SSB 8 times, 9 times, and they have become coaches. No, you are appeared for SSB, but are you an army officer? Are you no? Then they are not the right person to go to for taking guidance.
Right. True.
That is very important. And another thing is these days converting your passion into profession. What love, as they say, do what you love and love what you do. It is not only the traditional professions that are important. You must have seen there are so many youngsters, especially after COVID, who are earning through these digital
Of
platforms.
course. Yes.
So these are the things one has to realize, and taking expert advice instead of depending only on Google for information is the key. Because these days we feel that everything is available on Google, so why should I go pay to get advice from somebody? And as your father says, do you have it in you? Yes. If you have it in you, you will get selected. If you do not have it in you,
Yes.
maybe you're not meant for it.
Of course. And
Then you have the best flexibility. Okay, not this. There are many other ways to. Many people say, I want to join the armed forces to serve the nation. So for serving the nation, you don't necessarily have to join the armed forces only. You can do many other things. Every person in his or her own way in their respective profession, if they do it properly,
yes.
sincerely. As in the NCC, we used to focus on character building, natural character. We there's a saying, "Nation first, character must," which was a famous thing which we used to teach our cadets. So if you have that, build a character. The character of the person is very, very important,
Absolutely.
because otherwise once you have the or imagine, or we talk about vision board, and we talk about the other things, so what would be the character of that person who you want to become, whether you want to become a entrepreneur, whether you want to become a business leader, whether you want to become an officer in the armed forces, or an IAS officer, or a doctor. What kind of a character will that be? So that is where this thing comes into play. And yes, we have specialists available. We should go to the specialist. And one more thing, especially for the parents, I would say, uh, investment in your children's education is not an expenditure. Investment is a long term returns.
Yes.
Because most of the time we had earlier, it was more common. Now things are changing. That it is taken as a liability rather than an asset when you have to spend on education of your children. But no, it is not a expenditure. It is an investment in their future
Of course.
to them become a better person, better successful individuals in the whatever profession they are taking going into. So that again it comes to the mindset whether I am considering this as a expenditure or am I considering it as an investment for a parent
Yes.
especially.
So, from parents' perspective, you raised two important points to me. One is about not pushing your aspirations on your children,
Yes,
and second is considering any expenditure into education as investment rather than,
investment.
yes, rather than any other terms, I would say.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And
And
yes, please go
one
ahead.
more thing I was seen is today, earlier, the success is measured by people used to say, my son is a doctor, my son is a engineer, my son is a IAS, he is or she or my daughter is so and so, and they are earning so much. But no, everything was measured in terms of earning or materialistic things.
Yeah.
But today, you must have seen among your friends also, there are so many careers available for people to excel
Yes.
out of out of the box thing. Whether we have social media influencers, we have bloggers, we have travel experts, we have so many things available to us. Only things the right kind of education, right kind of values, and as somebody mentioned, education is person's support weapon. Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah, because if you have the developing the character of the person is very important,
Of course.
and of course do the right thing in a right way in order to become a better person. That is the most important thing. Ultimately everything else will fall into place.
Yes. Yes, I think ethics is a very important aspect.
Yes,
Any
absolutely.
any area of work or life, I would say that's really important. Having said that, taking any decision should not be delayed just
Yes,
because you have questions. So in some cases, you need to take the decision, then make it right. Uh,
yeah.
but
You have to take the
yeah,
risk. You have to take a risk at times. You should be prepared to take risks instead of waiting for the right moment or the right time or the right opportunity. If we don't wait for that, and if we take action, even if we fail, or even if we don't get the desired result, but it will be a learning experience for us to uh, take the then do course correction and get the desired results.
yes. Wonderful. I mean, thank you so much for answering so many questions of mine. We overboarded an hour of discussion.
Wow.
I feel like that. It felt very nice to have a conversation with you. I'm so honored to have this conversation, such engaging conversations. We have had really good comments and responses from the audience, and a lot of them resonate to what we are saying. So I'm glad that people enjoyed the conversation. And having said that, thank you for your time, Colonel, and it was wonderful talking to you. Is there any one key advice or message that you want to give to the audience? It could be about anything, coaching or anything that you want to emphasize on before we close.
As I said, Arya, that one thing is coaches never
Yes,
give advice.
that's why I made it
But
very
yes, message is that do what you ought to do when you do not want to do it and when no one is watching you.
thank you for
Self-discipline
putting it again.
and appreciate yourself more rather than waiting for appreciation or validation from other people.
Of
Because
course.
most of the time we are looking for validation from others. Say so and so did not acknowledge, so and so did not appreciate for what we have done. Instead of seeking external validation, the validation should come from inside, and you have that conviction, courage of conviction, and as we talk in the army, that is very important. And things will uh, fall into place. And of course, wherever you get stuck, then you seek. Don't shy away from seeking help, not advice, seeking help wherever you get
Of
stuck,
course.
and from experts or from people who you have either trust on them or those certain cases with from experts who are already been through that situation. So that will enable you to achieve your goals or dreams or aspirations. As we say, convert your dreams into reality.
Right. And that is going to happen only if you believe in yourself, like you rightly
Absolutely.
said.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Thank you so much to you, Colonel, and to all the people who have watched this Insta Live. Thank you for your time. Happy Republic Day in advance. We have it tomorrow, and hope you have a lovely weekend. And thank you so much. Thank
Thank you, Arya. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to more such collaborations with you.
Likewise.
Yeah, and it was actually a lot of I would say a lot of awakenings were there for me also, lessons for me also from this interaction of us, because certain things like which I had not thought of earlier came into my mind, and we were able to express. And I hope we have given value to our audience, what they were looking for from this conversation. And have a great day. Happy Republic Day. And thank you very much, Arya.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
lovely evening. Bye bye. Thank
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone, audience. Bye.